Am I the a-hole, 28M, for breaking up with my 27F fiancé due to false SA allegations in her past? Hello, everyone. I need to know, am I the a-hole? Forgive the throwaway, but my main is known by everyone from work to family. I know what I'm doing is right, but the people I respect and whose opinions matter to me are saying differently, and it's messing with me. Forgive the length of this, but I will try and put all the information I can in here. Me and Anna have been together for 5 years and engaged for 1. We were set to be married in October of this year. This woman is the love of my life. 2 weeks back, we had a couple of friends over at our house. One of the friends, Becky, was a high school friend of Anna. As the night went on, we obviously got a bit drunk, and the conversation went into all the weird stuff. The conversation landed on what is the deepest thing you regret. We all spoke, and Anna said her deepest regret is losing her virginity to her ex in high school and not to me. I did know this information, so that didn't bother me. Becky, who was a bit more tipsy, suddenly spoke up and called Anna a liar. A bit taken aback, I asked Becky why she would say something like that. I didn't even finish my sentences before Anna stood up and asked Becky to speak in private, but Becky refused. Becky then said Anna's biggest regret is the false SA allegations she made against her ex. Apparently in high school, her ex dumped her out of the blue one day without a reason. She got angry and made false SA allegations against him. He was arrested, kicked out of school, and his family had to move states because his life was being threatened. He was also put on self-deleting watch as he did try to end it. After Anna found out he tried to delete himself, she confessed the allegations were fake. I actually got angry because Becky was attacking my fiancé's character. I didn't believe a word until I looked at Anna with tears rolling down her face. I asked her if it was true, and Anna ran into the house and locked herself in our room. After that, the party was over, and everyone left as the situation was awkward at best. It took me 4 hours to get Anna to leave our room and talk to me. She basically confirmed that everything Becky said was true, with minor differences. I didn't know what to do at that moment, so I let her cry on my shoulder. She just kept asking me to forgive her. After I got her to bed and started to think about what she actually did, I got disgusted, and the more I thought about it, the more disgusted I got. I couldn't sleep at all that night and just got angrier and angrier the more I thought about it. That information shattered my whole image that I had of her. How can someone do something like that to anyone? I'm going to be honest, after I heard her confirm what Becky had said to be true, it was like the love I had for her was being replaced with anger the more I thought about what she did. That morning, I just avoided her. Every time she tried to talk to me, I couldn't look at her. I didn't want to hear her voice. It was like this the whole day. After thinking about everything again Saturday night, I came to the discussion to break up with her, because what she did is not just despicable, but what else has she lied about and is going to lie about, and I refuse to live with that uncertainty in my life. Sunday morning, I sat her down and asked her again to tell me the story, and she stated the same story she told me Friday night. I told her I can't be in a relationship with her anymore. She broke down completely. All I could make out over her cries is the word sorry over and over again. The rest was just mumbling. I wasn't in the best emotional state at that moment myself. This is the woman I wanted to marry. This is the love of my life. So I called her parents and mine as well. I told them we broke up, but didn't give a reason. I asked her parents to come and pick her up and asked mine to come because I was losing it myself. Her parents got to my house first. Her mom went directly to her to comfort her, and her dad asked me what happened. As soon as I said the words, "She made false accusations," he stopped me and said he understood. He asked me if it was all right to grab a couple of her things. He went into our room and got some of her things. While he was packing her things, Anna just kept asking me to forgive her. On their way out, her father said he will be in touch to come get her other things at a later time. I know I make it sound quick and easy, but all of this took about 30 minutes. An hour later, my parents arrived at our house. As soon as I saw my father, I completely broke down. I couldn't even stand on my own feet. He had to keep a hold of me. I literally cried myself to sleep while my father was holding me. This was the first time I was able to sleep since Friday night. I woke up to my mom cooking dinner for us. The first question was from my father, who asked if I was okay, and I couldn't answer him. My mother then asked what happened, and I just started to cry again. It took me 10 minutes to get myself together enough to talk to them. I told them everything. They sat in silence with a look of complete shock on their faces. My mother asked if it was really true, and I told her Anna herself confirmed it. After that, we just sat in silence the whole night. Just my dad constantly checking in on me. Monday, I woke up to my dad missing and just my mom in the house. I asked her where my dad went, and she told me he left their house but will be back soon. Luckily, my mom answered my phone that morning when my manager called because I was a no-show at work. I got 2 weeks at least. My dad came back later that day with his and my mom's clothes and a couple of other things, because they will be staying with me for a while. When I wanted to object, my father told me he didn't want to hear it. About 4 p.m. the same day, Anna's mother came to my house and wanted to speak to me. My mother didn't want her to even come into the house, but I agreed to talk to her. Apparently, Anna is in a bad way. She refuses to eat and is constantly crying. Her mother asked me if I could forgive her and possibly get back together with her. They will even pay for couples counseling if that is what I needed. My mother kicked her out of my house after that. I didn't even get a chance to respond. My phone from that Sunday has been blowing up from her, our friend, her mother, even some family members on both sides wanting me to reconsider our breakup as she did nothing to me and this was in her past. Although true, I can't forgive something like that. She caused her ex to lose his life and nearly caused his death. If she can lie about something like that, what else can't she lie about? What else has she lied about? Almost everyone I know has been harassing me and calling me heartless for not seeing her pain, calling me an a-hole and that I'm a jerk for holding something she did in her past over her head, that I never truly loved her because I can end things just like this, and it's starting to get to me. My parents are still at my house, so I asked my dad what he will do. He responded with one question: "Do you think you can forgive her?" When I said no, his response was, "Then that is the end of it. Everyone else can go screw themselves." So am I the a-hole? Edit. Just to clarify something that I see coming up in the comments. She was 18 at the time she made the false accusations. I don't know if they apologized to the guy. After they moved, they completely disappeared. I know his name and the names of his parents, but can't find them on any social media. 6 months passed from the time she accused her ex to her confession. Based on the comments, OOP was NTA. Relevant comments. Subscreen also. Do take many precautions and save documentation of all her begging messages and the breakup. Keep her parents' messages, even text Becky so she reiterates what happened that night in a savable format. Once your ex realizes that you aren't taking her back, she is capable of doing the same thing to you. OOP, thank you for the advice. I have been saving everything, but didn't ask Becky for the story again. I will do that. Again, thank you. Full me 3 rice. Everyone else who is hounding you to get back with her and get over it won't be marrying her and dealing with the fear for the rest of your life that she might do the same thing to you in the future. I will never marry someone like that or have children with them. Consider yourself extremely lucky that you got to know about her SA false case that almost ended someone's life before you married her. Luck was on your side this time. OOP. It hurts, but yes, I do feel lucky. My brother said basically the same thing as you. He also said I must be careful because I used up years of luck in one evening. Quiet_village_1425. The problem is she cannot be trusted. You might be her next victim. OOP. I am keeping every single thing. All the texts and voicemails as proof if she tries something. OOP updated on the same post. Update. First, thank you everyone. I do appreciate your support. The update won't be long, but something has happened in the last 2 days. I have found out what happened to the ex. I know I said I won't go looking for him, but he kept creeping into my mind. Unfortunately, he is no longer with us. He took his own life at the age of 22. I found an obituary of him. I didn't contact his parents or anything, just some snooping on the internet from their old profile. I managed by luck to track them down through old friends and some family members. One of them posted his story after the SA on his profile. Someone found out the SA allegations at his college and reported him. He was kicked out and got fired from his job even though he was cleared, and he ended himself afterwards. I don't know if my ex knows. I'm also labeled as an abuser now and being investigated by the police. Had to go and give a statement at the police station this morning. My ex reported me to the police for DV. I was also issued with a restraining order to not go near her. Don't want to anyway. My mother is furious. I have never heard my mother cuss, but she became a sailor when I told them what was going on. Even my dad was shocked. I explained everything to the police and gave them all the evidence I have so far, all the saved messages and voicemails. But they said the case cannot just be dismissed as they still have to do an investigation because apparently my ex has proof via photos of bruises on her body. I did ask from when and how, but the officer refused to tell me. Ongoing investigation and all that crap. I can with full confidence say I have never hurt her in any physical way other than a slap on the ass. Sorry for not giving a happy update. I thought this would have been done with. Luckily, I can say all thoughts of reconciliation are out the window and driven over by a truck. Relevant comments. Arctic Reaper, understandable to be pissed off. Make backups of everything honestly. Better safe than sorry. Just in case something happens to anything, you will have backups then. OOP, I have triple copies of everything. Her ex must have been a better man than me because he didn't do anything. I'm going to not just watch but assist in her life falling apart. Second story. My 22M GF 23F has been mad at me because of a trip I won't let her take. I'll try to keep this as short as possible, but if you feel like I need more context, I can add an addendum in the comments. I met my current girlfriend in our freshman year of college. We hit it off almost instantly and became pretty fast friends. After being friends for a while, I asked her out and we've been together ever since, coming up on 2 years in October. Recently, however, she and I have been fighting over a proposed trip she intends to go on at the end of this month. She has a friend, who we'll call Paul, because that's his name and I don't care enough to censor it. I was always aware of him since he lives in her dorm and we've hung out a couple of times. But in the Venn diagram of our friend group, he's always been very firmly in the her circle. I've also always believed that he had feelings for her from only knowing him a few months. They've always spent an inordinate amount of time together, even more than most of her other friends, and often more than I get to see her in a week. He's also made occasional inappropriate remarks about her, which I won't get into here. I brought this up to my girlfriend multiple times, but she insists he just sees her as a friend, and while I think she's incorrect, I don't think she's being dishonest. I trust that she has absolutely no interest in him that way, and so I'm mostly okay with their friendship. At this point, it's honestly kind of a joke between us. Well, things between us have soured over Paul in the last week or so. His birthday is coming up soon, and he asked her to go on a trip with him to LA, which is on the opposite side of the country from us. She mentioned the plans in a kind of off-handed manner, and when I said I wouldn't be comfortable with that, she and I got into an awful argument about it. As it turns out, he paid for the trip, including plane tickets, before asking her. And when he asked her, she already agreed to go. I asked her not to go and said I'd find it incredibly inappropriate and hurtful, especially since he only booked one room for both of them. She said I was being hurtful to her friend and would really hurt their relationship. She also says that I was being controlling and accused me of not trusting her. There's a lot more details, but I don't really want to go into them in this post. What should I do, Reddit? I want her to be able to enjoy the last of her summer break, but I'm just not comfortable with this situation. Would it be too unreasonable to ask to go with them? TLDR. My GF and I have been fighting since she said she wants to go across the country with her male friend. Top comment. I personally would walk away. She is willfully ignorant, thinking Paul has her best interest at heart. He actively makes inappropriate jokes about her and clearly has feelings for her. I don't care about friends of the opposite gender, but this is a hard pass for me as a person. She wouldn't like it if a girl was talking about your physical features, and then off you go to a faraway state one-on-one for a birthday celebration. He doesn't respect boundaries, and he sounds creepy. Hopefully, he doesn't do anything unsafe to her. I would bring up these points again, and if she dismisses them, then that is your sign. OOP replies. They're not explicit or physical. Instead, they're more just deeply inappropriate for their level of friendship. Like a fake proposal with ring pops, calling her his friendship soulmate, and telling a real estate agent they were newlyweds when the two of them were checking out an apartment for him. Update. Hey everyone. Just wanted to post an update on my relationship with my girlfriend. Sorry if this doesn't make sense. I'm exhausted, emotionally drained, a tad tipsy still, and going through it. So we split up. I was with her pretty much all night tonight, and only just got home. And yeah, we're done. It was ugly. There was a lot of crying. Now I know some of you might have questions about why I did it. To explain it, I need a metaphor. Have you heard the parable about a boiling frog? Where you slowly turn up the heat on a frog in a pot, so it doesn't realize it's being cooked alive. Well, if you gave the frog a thermometer, it might suddenly realize that it was being boiled and hop out. That's what my post on here was. It wasn't until I was reading through and considering responding to some of the comments I got that I realized how big the problems in my relationship were, because they'd started small and built up over the course of literal years. I decided that whether or not my GF decided to go was ultimately inconsequential. The truth was, this was never about the trip. This was about my GF's treatment of me. The truth was, I trusted her on the trip. Deep down, with every fiber of my being, I trusted that she was sincere in her denials of their situation. I do not believe she would have done anything, but I don't think it matters. The simple fact is she'd been consistently downplaying and disregarding my feelings for years, all the while defending Paul, who had been manipulating her and several of our other friends. I could go into why I think this is, the desire to be a hero, etc., but none of it matters. She dismissed my feelings out of hand and was willing to hurt me, harangue me, and belittle me in defense of Paul's behaviors, which she ultimately admitted were sketchy and manipulative. That's just a cold, hard fact. Those aren't traits I want in a partner. And now I don't have to worry about that. As for me, I feel like my world just ended. Like someone shoved a vacuum hose in my sternum and slurped up my insides. And whatever they stuffed my newly empty space full of is cold and prickly. I'd love it if someone could give me some advice on how to handle this. I've never had a breakup this painful before. I'm also having serious regrets. Please let me know what y'all think. Right now I'm going to get plastered and go to sleep and hope somehow my life is bearable in the morning. Good night, Reddit. TLDR. GF and I broke up. Right thing to do, but now I feel awful. Top comments. You are a great example of learning to set boundaries and gaining self-worth. Props to you, brother. It's going to hurt for a long time. But time will eventually drain that cold pain in your chest and it will fill with boiling courage and independence. Worst thing you can do? Relapse and run back to her. Keep your eyes on the path ahead and get excited that the girl that respects you is closer than you think. Smiley face. P.S. I've gone to the ER for heartbreak, it hurts so bad. But I'm giving you advice because I empathize. OOP comments. Right now it's not even grief. I'm sure it'll come later, but that's not what I'm feeling. I just feel cold. Not angry, not sad, just cold. I keep thinking about how much pain she's in and I know that I caused it because I wasn't happy. It all seems so selfish, but I know I have to put the oxygen mask on myself, or whatever. She cried a lot. Asked me how I could do this to us, to her. Told me we could fix this, that I'd never given her a sign, etc. Yeah, she's blocked right now. I just don't want to see those messages at the moment. I don't know how long we can keep it up though. We have a lot of the same friends and move in the same social circles. OOP has added some new comments. It was rough for a while. I'm not going to lie, it still is. I didn't realize how many parts of my life she touched until all of them started aching. And now I'm having to deal with the lingering pain of all the things I don't share with her anymore. I've had good days and bad days, but the good ones generally outweigh the bad. Our friend group split up right along with us. There were a couple of ugly fights and I lost a few good friends, but I take a sort of tragic pride in the knowledge that I kept most of our friends in my life. I'm very glad they've been so supportive of me right now. In unrelated but important news, important to me at least, I had to put my cat down last week as well, and I'm just generally not having a good time. But this week is a lot better than last, so things are trending up. I went back to the gym for the first time in literally years, and it was nice. Still getting back into the swing of things, and trying to get comfortable in a new gym, which takes some getting used to. I've been taking care of myself in other ways. Listening to a lot of sad music, starting up a D&D game, and just generally taking it easy. I might even try a bit of writing again. Don't know if this is the kind of update you're looking for, but it's what's been going on. OOP has confirmed the trip did not go ahead. X has had a falling out with Paul and is now remorseful. OOP is answering questions here. OOP Q&A. Some additional info on Paul from OOP. Jesus, where to begin? Sorry in advance if this gets vitriolic, but this is just a tad raw. In the original post I kind of mentioned it, but the real big thing is this. He has like 4 friends total. Like that's his whole social world. And his friendship with them is super codependent. He has mental health and alcohol issues. I don't want to diminish that. They're real, and I think him getting treatment might help things. But he uses that fact and some oh so convenient breakdowns to keep his friends from leaving. So they rush in and take care of poor, damaged Paul, and feel like saints as they nurse him back to health. It's so freaking toxic and codependent. But if you say anything, then you're the bad guy kicking an emotionally vulnerable man while he's down. If I had a nickel for every time he promised this would be the last time, and he'd get help, I'd be able to buy him the personal, private therapist he so desperately needs. And between that there are these big elaborate gestures. I was only barely surprised when I heard he was flying my ex out to CA. It's just the type of thing he'll do. As a list of other stuff he has. Sabotaged my project in a class we had together. Literally just found out about this 2 days ago. Long story. Called my ex a jerk and a fake friend when she wouldn't bring him to this fundraiser as her +1. Cheated on his past girlfriend. Got his underage brother drunk without his brother's knowledge. And then just small petty things like not paying a few of my friends back for money they lent him. Sat on his phone playing games while other people were moving his couch. Sent my ex emergency messages while she was on dates with me or was studying for her final. And I know it's dumb, but one of the things that got to me most is that I have never, not once, seen him hold the door for anyone. Doesn't matter if your arms are full of fine china. You're opening that door yourself, buckaroo. Flaring is concluded as the relationship looks to be over.